Hello, everyone. This is Lou Antonetti, back with Mindset Match, how to elevate yourself in a game of life. We're up to session 12 now. Keeping with the theme of Mindful Mondays with the Sachem Public Library, I'm reading some excerpts from my book entitled Monday Messages, Reflections on Life, Leadership, and Learning in Our Schools. Just to finish up the intro to the book here, I really believe that a positive culture in school is so important because without one, the negativity will flow throughout the halls of a building. So please, if you decide to purchase my book, use it not only as an opportunity to improve your life, but as a way to cultivate positive change in students and colleagues in your schools. It is my hope that this book can be used as a weekly reminder for students, teachers, administrators, and various school personnel, and coaches as well, to reflect upon their daily purpose and how they are affecting people's lives. The goal is to not only to help students reach their full potential academically, but to help them build solid character before they enter the game of life. So please, feel free to use any of my passages from my book in your classroom to improve the character of students, which in turn may result in better outcomes both inside and outside of your school. The days we have go so quickly, but if you think about each day of our lives, we spend approximately 8 hours sleeping. And if you have kids, that's a bonus 8 hours. We spend 8 hours working, and the other 8 hours we have for ourselves or other responsibilities. So 1/3 of our day is allocated just for us. Now, let's say you're a teacher over a 30-year career in education, you'll have approximately 1/3 of that time for yourself, making it about 10 years. What we do with our personal time can allow us to go from good to great. Will we spend a majority of time watching TV or on social media? Do we try to use personal time to better ourselves mentally and physically? Do we have conversations with friends and loved ones to allow relationships to grow? It's up to you. Everyone's answers will differ, but the key here is to not let your day control you. We all have the same amount of time each day, but why do some of us feel that there's never enough time to do what they really want to do during each day? By attacking your daily routine, you take back your day without letting your day take it to you. We all need time for ourselves. Otherwise, our minds never get to focus on our daily goals, and we're at the mercy of others and the clock each day. So schedule time for yourself. Otherwise, you will try jamming it in at the end of each day when the time is up or you're too tired to accomplish anything. The 1/3 is something that people may feel is out of their control. But once you strategize a bit, you won't find yourself hoping to make the 1/3 worthwhile. Staying on track is something that we appreciate. It shows that we're focused. But I have a passage here that I'm about to read that shows sometimes we need to take detours. And those detours help us learn about ourselves and bring us to experiences we never thought imaginable. Architect Frank Lloyd Wright told how a lecture he received at the age of 9 helped set his philosophy of life. An uncle, a no-nonsense type of uncle, had taken him for a long walk on a snow-covered field. At the far side, his uncle told him to look back at their 2 sets of tracks. He said, "See, my boy, how your footprints go aimlessly back and forth from those trees to the cattle, back to the fence, then over there where you're throwing sticks? But notice how my path comes straight across, directly to my goal. You should never forget this lesson." "And I never did," he said. Grinning, I determined right then not to miss most things in life, as my uncle had, by following the straight path. It is so important to be flexible in life. We are taught to have systems and processes in an effort to streamline things. We need to enjoy the detours that life brings. Just like during our school day, you may be heading from point A to point B with a clear goal in mind. And if you rush by a colleague or a friend in the hall, you may be missing something. Even in class, a student may have a random question, and if you steamroll over it, you could be missing out on a learning opportunity or a chance to develop a closer bond with that student. I am guilty, myself, of taking the direct path many times, and I would love to speak with everyone I encounter, but it's just not possible given the craziness of a school day. The quote-unquote gotta minutes may delay my course of action a bit, but sometimes they bring a pleasant surprise that I was not expecting. We need to keep the minutes in mind because they seem to get lost in our rapidly passing life. I think we all know that learning is an important aspect of life, no matter if you're learning what to do or what not to do. The pursuit of knowledge should be a priority for our work-related tasks and overall well-being. We should encourage students to become lifelong learners, and we should be the same. It's always nice to hear about the positive conversations that occur during our staff development periods that take place during the school year. Many teachers are excited to share their best practices with others in schools. Please remember that the only way to achieve your goals is to take that initial step. Whether you make a mistake or forget to include something, you are still making progress because conversations are taking place and ideas are being put on paper. Things may not be perfect the first time, though, but the fact that you are working together allows you to put forth a well-rounded product that represents all the great ideas and minds from each classroom or group. Sometimes we question the reason why we are doing something before we actually begin the journey, but as we get in the thick of it, the vision and purpose become more visible. Just know that when the finished product presents itself before you, you may realize that you learned a lot about yourself and your teammates throughout the process. Sometimes people rush to get to the end of a journey, but it's important, as crazy as it sounds, to enjoy the rough road along the way. Along that road are stories and battles that make our bond stronger in the long run. Remember that a true colleague or friend walks in when others walk out. There's a famous quote by George Eliot that states, "What do we live for if not to make the world less difficult for each other?" I wonder about this on a daily basis as we move through our hectic days. It seems that many people are more concerned with being right rather than just being happy. The amount of energy people spend trying to prove themselves right must be exhausting. In the scheme of life, it is important to understand that always being right doesn't always make you or others around you happy. The most unhappy people spend too much time proving they are right. Whether it's complaining or not conceding a belief because you want to validate your position, these quote-unquote ego trippers will suck the life right out of you. We all need to understand that feeling a sense of worth shouldn't correlate to the amount of times you are right. If anything, your worth should be measured by how well you work within a team or a family concept and make rational decisions. It's interesting how many people attempt to validate their position or rank by making decisions harder than they have to be. By complicating matters, you may be making people's lives more difficult while not making a difference. People will respect you more if you open yourself up to some criticism and allow other ideas to enter your sphere of thinking. By taking chances and trying to create solutions rather than critiquing ideas that exist, you will find happiness. So remember that each day you go to work or school, you should empower others to work with you by listening to their ideas, and if their ideas happen to be right, just let it be and learn to accept it. I once heard a saying, "That which you resist will persist." When you resist change or other people's ideas, the frustration that occurs will remain until you loosen up the reins and stop trying to control everything. The one thing many of us have on our side is time. And a quote by Seneca says, "We are always complaining that our days are few and acting as though there would be no end to them. So we must appreciate all the time that we have here on this earth." Why is it that we consider people with complex ideas as smart or sometimes brilliant? There's a difference between being smart and being unnecessarily complex. We only have so much time to take care of things while at work and at home. Why do we make things more complex than they have to be? I feel that some people create challenges in their lives for no reason. Challenge yourself for purposeful things in life, not tasks that can be solved simply. It's okay to make things simple at work and at home. Doing so doesn't mean you're not intelligent. People try to make themselves seem more intelligent by blowing up minor issues or using what I call edubabble, which is the art of using educational buzzwords to make simple ideas way more complex just to seem smarter. You make them complex and you make them more complex than they really are, and people don't appreciate that. They want simple. Simple is efficient. The smart way of conducting business is to make policies and processes less complex. Less complexity means that people will think less and act more. If I needed to evaluate someone's intellectual prowess, I would consider the person who turns a complex process into a simple one the smarter person. Smart is not a person who spends time complicating matters to remain in control or to make their job seem more important than it really is. Developing ideas for an organization is not about rank and position. It is about doing what is best for those who carry out those policies on a daily basis. As long as the guidelines are sound, the purpose is only driven by want to rather than have to. Hopefully, we all take this into account as we enforce guidelines in our classrooms, offices, and personal lives. So remember, life is too short to waste energy and race against the clock. The number of days we have need to be spent with good intentions, since we will only be known for how we affected others, not how we took care of ourselves. Simplicity. We have to appreciate the art of simplicity and people who keep things simple. The problem with today's society is we get lost in distractions and drama and cell phones, and we make things more complex than they have to be. To most, simplicity means easy. To others, it means classy. To some, maybe dumbing something down. The beauty of keeping things simple is that lines are never blurred and the natural form of something is preserved in its truest state. Acoustic music is broken down into simplistic parts, allowing the listener to hear the passion behind the song. The best restaurants in the world keep things simple by focusing on making fewer meals more perfect, and becoming less distracted with technological gadgets at home allows a family to spend time on strengthening bonds. To me, simplicity in life seems to allow people to zoom in on what's at stake or what's important. Simplifying things at work and our personal lives makes everything more efficient. Sometimes we complicate things in the workplace for fear of that rare instance when a random event may occur. The what-ifs will take care of themselves if the procedures, relationships, and rules are more about quality than quantity. Between TV, DVDs, social media, iPods, iPads, video games, some people can alleviate problems by allowing these complicated distractions to consume them. Alleviating stress or an ongoing problem does not mean the issue goes away. Sometimes the overcomplication of our lives leads to problems that shouldn't exist in the first place. While most people in our society feel that more is the answer, they need to realize that simplicity is the true key to happiness. Recalling the pep talk he gave the Dallas Cowboys before their victory in the 1993 Super Bowl game, Jimmy Johnson said, "I told them that if I laid a 2x4 across the room, everybody there would walk across it and not fall, because our focus would be that we were going to walk that 2x4. But if I put that same 2x4 10 stories high between two buildings, only a few would make it. Why? Because the focus would be on falling." That was Jimmy Johnson, coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Sometimes the reason people don't persevere is because the lenses through which they view life are focused on failing and not succeeding. To be a leader, you must always make the most out of the hand you are dealt and expect to overcome challenges. You can't always ask for a new set of cards, since that would allow everyone to succeed. By choosing to work or play under perfect circumstances means that adjustments and challenges are not welcomed. As leaders, we have to get the most out of ourselves and empower those around us. Problem solving occurs when you understand that a set of circumstances will not be changing on its own. By complaining and saying that things aren't in your favor, you are no different than anyone else who has not succeeded. Anyone can succeed when all the pieces line up, or when you're dealt 4 aces in your hand. Anybody can hit a pitch that's thrown over the plate at the right speed. The best and most memorable hitters are those that can crush pitches out of the strike zone. That's what creates a legacy. So what will your legacy be? Will you be remembered as someone who sought out adjustments to alter bad situations, or will you be known as someone who could only succeed when the going was good? Remember to savor any challenges that come before you. See them as opportunities that may open doors. Know that by overcoming them, you will be stronger and learn more about yourself in the end. Also, remind students to approach exams with a positive mindset. Many of them default to believing they didn't study enough right before they take a test, essentially focusing on falling, just like Jimmy's quote. When they encounter the one question they don't know, their self-fulfilling prophecy is realized and their confidence begins to dwindle. A strong mindset will help keep them and all of us focused on our goal, even if the cards are stacked against us. Thank you for listening to session 12. I look forward to you joining me for the next session, where we'll talk more about our daily life in school and home life with family to make our bonds even stronger. Thank you again for listening. Take care.